Let's get started with the game widgets in BookWidgets. For those of you who are new to BookWidgets is a content creation and evaluation tool that teachers can use to support their students' learning process from beginning to end. We have an extensive widget library with a number of interactive templates that teachers can use to create those interactive activities to capture their students' learning. We are integrated with a number of trusted learning management systems, and with BookWidgets, you can monitor student progress, providing feedback on their strengths and shortcomings. And all of that wonderful data is in a reporting dashboard where you can spend less time on grading and more time on personalized student feedback. So what are we going to do today? In today's session, we will learn about the capabilities of specific game widgets and their functionalities by showcasing various sample widgets. So I'm excited to inspire you with what we're going to show today. We're going to take first a look at the examples of the game widgets. I got a number of ones to share with you. We're going to also take a look at using games in your lessons. We're going to provide you with some ideas of how you can integrate games into your instructional design. And then we're going to wrap it all up with some extra tips and tricks. So for our game widgets, these examples that I'm going to show you will serve as inspiration that should provide you with some practical ideas and insights to help you create content for your students. So the game widgets that we're taking a look at, here you can see the icons for all of them. And you're also going to notice, as I show you each of the examples, that there's 2 additional symbols that might be with each game widget icon. The camera icon there indicates that this widget supports live monitoring. So if you deliver the widget activity to your students through a learning management system, you'd be able to watch them in real time, monitoring their activity. We also have the checkbox there, and this icon indicates that the widget supports submissions for grading and feedback. Not every game needs to have grading with it, but those that do will be indicated with that symbol. So let's begin with the Jigsaw puzzle. This is one of, all of the widgets pretty much are my favorite. But what I really like about the Jigsaw puzzle is how versatile it is and how you can use it to inspire your students. So for this particular Jigsaw puzzle, I've already gotten a head start on solving it. So I'm just going to quickly take care of inserting these last few pieces, drag and drop them in, and then comes something pretty awesome.
Hi, my name is Murasaki Shikibu. Probably many of your English classes feature lots of novels by male writers, from Twain to Dickens to Hemingway. But their craft may not even have existed if I hadn't been there before. I'm a Japanese woman, and I'm considered to be the world's first novelist.
That's
I was a
pretty cool.
noblewoman living in Japan around the year 1000 AD.
So that's a really interesting example of a way that you could add in audio as the reward for solving the problem. Now you're tapping into students' listening skills where they can acquire some new information about the image that was solved in the puzzle. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have for you math folks. All right, so again, I got a head start on solving the puzzle. So let me, let's see, using symbols. I wonder which goes where. But the puzzle piece gives me a little bit of a clue. Solve it. And I get a nice little congratulations word. Now, this could be part of a game, where you have them understanding symbolism, to kind of decode some things. And then it could be part of like unlocking, some additional learning in another activity. Let's go take a look at another example. So no matter what subject area you are in, whether it's English or math and science, here in this case, this particular jigsaw puzzle is a diagram of a particular cell. And now, after the students have taken the time to solve it, it becomes an opportunity to converse with their neighbor. So, completed the puzzle, now go over the numbers with your neighbor. And they have, with this diagram, they can talk about each of these particular components. And then with some blended learning, they could be writing notes in their notebook to document their conversation. So it's a great way to use that jigsaw puzzle as a conversation piece. Let me show you another one. We have lots of examples that we're going to take a look at throughout this whole webinar. And if we don't get to all of them, don't worry. You'll get a copy of the slides and they are clickable. So then you can see all of the widgets that we have created and shared with you. So here's another one that's for science classes to do a turn and talk and explain, is this picture an example of a tropical or temperate rainforest? And you'll notice a lot of the widgets I'm sharing with you. You'll see this green icon in the upper corner, make a copy in my account. So if you're inspired by any of these particular widgets and you want to use them and repurpose them in your own class, you can do so easily. And we also have, as a bonus, we have the blog post article that relates to the jigsaw puzzle. So again, once you get a copy of the slides, post-webinar, you will be able to go and explore. Let's switch on over now to pair matching. Now, if you notice, the jigsaw puzzle had the live monitoring icon, but no grading or scoring. But the pair matching enables both, that you can do live monitoring in that learning management system and do some grading and feedback with them. Let's go take a look. So here we have this, complete the English idioms. The pictures are the missing words. Let's see. Beat the clock. Blank flies when you're having fun. Nope, that one wasn't it. Let's try time flies when you're having fun. That's correct. Now see how we get the color and we get this little symbol in the bottom corner. Lets me know that I have correctly chosen the right answer. It's not rocket science. You'll see now this next pair has a different set of colors and a different symbol in the corner, so that if your students are colorblind or perceptually impaired, you have both ways, the symbols in the bottom corner and the colors to indicate the pair matching. Let's go take a look at another example. Oh, for you math folks, people, or anyone who likes pizza, we can practice our fractions. So looking at the pie, figuring out, okay, this one I think is 3/4. Yes, I'm correct. So this is fun using images, and now we're using fractions for math class that we can practice doing what does it look like and matching the two up together. So that's pretty cool. And just as before, if you incorrectly try to match them, you'll notice that we don't get the color matching. But then bloop, there we go. We get the next color. So that's customizable to pick which colors and to show or not show the icons in the bottom corner. So pair matching, let's do one more example. Here we have inventors and their inventions. So we're seeing again a combination of words that are text on a particular one side of the match, and then on the other side of the match we have the image to go with. And just as before, you'll see here we have the colors and the symbols indicating the correct match. All right, so that's pair matching. You can use this as a way to activate students' understanding of a particular topic. They can also use it to acquire new information. And just as with the jigsaw puzzle, we got that link to a blog post for you to check out and learn more. Let's go over to another game widget, the randomness widget. I love this particular widget because there's so many different uses for it. Now you'll notice the randomness widget does not support live monitoring, nor is there grading or feedback. The students are simply spinning the wheel. So we have, what number is it? Say the number in French. Well, I can spin the wheel to be able to get the next number. And to practice speaking aloud. You could do this as a whole group activity or have students individually on their screens with their individual device, spinning the wheel to determine, what you would like them to do. So that's French class. Let's go take a look at another example. Math. Here we go. You could practice arithmetic and solving your equations here. So let's spin the wheel. 8 times 10. I think I know this one. It's 80. Let's practice again. 9 times 3. 7 times 4. So this is a really interesting way, again, that you can get students to practice skills in a way that's, doesn't stress them out. It's fun. It's game-based. Let's take a look at another example. Now for this particular widget, you'll see that we have, I'm going to spin the wheel. We have 3 different wheels here, and we have a combination of words, and an image. And you'll notice, maybe as I spin the wheel again, with this particular widget, we're getting the continent and we're getting the country and we're getting the flag of where it's located. So this is a bit of a grouping that we're getting. This wheel is determining, once this sets, then these next 2 wheels are dependent on that first wheel happening. I'll show you that in tips and tricks, how to be able to do a grouping randomness widget. Okay, let's take a look at one more example. Explain the danger symbols. So this is great for a science class. Fire. I don't know what that one means. Maybe you do. But again, using this as a conversation starter or to check their understanding. And you could also do some blended learning with this. Have them spin the wheel and then use that ancient art of handwriting and write down notes in their notebook. Okay, let's pop out of randomness. Again, there's a link to the blog post to check it out. Now, mind maps are another, you might not think of this necessarily as a game, but it is definitely a way that you can activate students' understanding. You'll be able to do some live monitoring with a mind map, so do some awesome brainstorming sessions with them, in addition to having them just do a brain dump where anything that's related to the topic at hand, they could note it. So you could monitor this live and also give them feedback. Let's take a look at some examples. Ooh, fiction versus nonfiction. What are the similarities and differences? So here we have a Venn diagram. So we have our little tile that we can fill out. So we can say imaginary characters, and I want to add another component, or let's say you saw those little icons pop up here. I could change the color. I'm going to add another one. And for this one, I'm going to put over here for nonfiction. Let's say fact-based. I could change the color if I wanted to. And you can also see too that I'm moving things around. Now we do know that fiction could have fact-based stuff too. That you have stories that are based on real things. So you could always be adding more tiles in. And if you notice these little dots, being able to connect them to the other tile. Kind of a fun way to play with it. I'm going to clear my map and take a look at another example. Ooh, a book review. So this is interesting. We're going to use a mind map widget here to do a book review. And you can see that the teacher has given some guidance to the students as to how they want them to lay out the particular tiles for the mind map and to show it. And then they can download it and save it and share it with their teacher. So that's a real interesting one. And you can notice how vibrant the directions are to guide the students with what they are to do for the task. Okay. Let's take a look at another example. There we go. Draw a family tree with the characters in your book. So here we have a background image that is also giving the students some guidance as to where they could place their mind map tiles. So being able to put these little boxes in and kind of show relationship. They can guide the placement by using that background image. And I'll show you how to do that when we pop over to tips and tricks. All right, let's take a look at some more game widgets. Crosswords are a great way to practice students' understanding and to let them practice with the knowledge that they have acquired. So again, crosswords do allow for live monitoring and for grades and feedback. Let's take a look at example number 1. And here on the design of this one, the teacher has added in a background, and we have, the color has been changed with it. And you also have your tiles over here on the side, your list. And notice you can move these around on the screen. And then if you want to answer one, you go, where is number 2 to think, thought? You can click on it and it will highlight for you within the puzzle where to do the typing in of your answer. Let's pop over to another crossword puzzle. Oh, this one uses emojis. Sight word. Let's see. Type it in. So we have emojis are our clue, and then the answer gets typed in the word. And as you can see here, when I click, it's letting me know where I need to go. If I want to drag my list around, I can do that and type things in. Okay, so that's a cool way to play with that. Another interesting design for crossword puzzles. Here's this one again. We have a lot of text. We're doing economic terms, and again, can click and then see where this is. Okay, and having that, being able to click on the description here, the clue, is really useful, having that highlight amongst all of the text there. So I know exactly where I'm looking for and where I need to place my particular answer. Let's go to example 4. Oh, math folks, here we go. Here's another one. So don't think crosswords are only for ELA people. For your English language arts, it has to be text-based. Nope. You could do some mathematical equations and type your answers in. And then if you want to do the actual calculation, you just have to retype over it what the answer there. Okay, let's exit out of that. And again, there's a blog post for you to check out for crossword. Let's go take a look at some memory game examples. We have the live monitoring and grading and feedback for memory game as well. Let's open this in a new tab. All right, so we have all these tiles and we're doing Spanish words. Oh, I am not very good at my Spanish words yet, am I? Oh, bathroom. Oh, no, bathtub. El baño, I know that's bathroom, but you get the idea. Clicking through, I love the decorativeness of the card. All right, let's go to another memory game example. Ah, and I already solved one of them here, so we're looking at derivatives. Oh. So just as we saw before, being able to match things up and have them be color coded is pretty cool. And also, again, as we had before with the other widget, you have the icon in the corner from Pairmatching, and then it being color coded when you do get the match. So memory game is very similar in that regard too. Link a new window. Different types of banks. So here we get a word and then a definition. And then let's see if we can match it. No. Oh, there we go. We got a match. Okay. So you get the idea. This could be a way too for students to acquire new information for vocabulary words as they practice trying to match with the memory game here and build that short-term memory and hopefully get it into their long-term memory to acquire that knowledge. Let's take a look at another example. In this memory game, we've added some images and tips to save on energy costs. And then we need to find the tip and image that belongs together. So again, you can acquire new information. Yay, we got a match. Feels pretty good when you get a match. And then you can see the color coding is happening as we get additional matches made. So it's nice to be able to have not only words on your tiles, but also images. And you can do that same reward as we saw with the Jigsaw puzzle of having a reward audio or a reward word to congratulate the students on their completion of the task. Okay, switching over now to bingo cards. So there is no live monitoring with a bingo card, but you can do grading and feedback. So you can play the bingo game, but you could also use it as a way to practice students' listening and viewing skills. So here, the teacher will show some images. We're going to say show them on the front board using their overhead projector or their smart screen. Provide the correct translation and mark it if it's on your bingo card. So as the teacher puts up the image, the students will have to now recognize what is that image and then finding the corresponding French word on their bingo card. So that's a fun activity. And then to get someone to get to bingo. All right, let's take a look at some other ones. Solve the operation that the teacher gives. Is the solution on your card? Mark it. So same thing, the teacher will project to the class a equation and then find the answer. So if I said 1 plus 3, I'm going to mark it. I know 4 plus 4. We mark it. 3 plus 7. Okay. I'm going to just show you. You get bingo. You'll see all the colors will change to show that bingo board that you have done that. Okay, let's take a look at a third example for bingo. Roman numerals. write the number on the board, convert it to Roman numerals. So again, the teacher is writing something on the front board for the class to look at, and then they will look down on their screen on their device to select the appropriate answer on the bingo board. So this is great for getting students, because we all need this break too, of having our faces and screens to not just be looking close at our screen, but then also lifting up and looking far away. I think you get the idea with the bingo card. Let's go take a look at a word search. So word searches do let us have live monitoring and being able to do grades and feedback. First, translate to French, then find the words. So we will need to take a look at our vocabulary list over here. Here's the definitions, and then the corresponding words I would want to locate in the particular word search puzzle here. You have me all at a disadvantage because I do not speak French. So let's go take a look at another example. So we get each one of these is a clue. This is what you wear under your feet to slide down a mountain. And then the answer would be in the particular word search. Oh, I see the word goggles. Goggles. Goggle. Come on, goggles. Gloves. Oh, ski goggles. Let's look. Ski goggles. Yes, I got it. Thermal underwear. Ah, there we go. There's another one. That gloves wasn't working before, so let's take a look. Ski gloves. Yes. And if you notice, now we're getting some color coding over here, and we're seeing which ones I've already answered, and then now I know which ones are left. And if you've solved the whole puzzle, same thing as before, with some of the other widgets, you can do the reward word or reward message to them. As a class, search for 8 hidden words in the word search. Then answer the question, what is the topic for today's lesson? Ooh, so this is fun. What are we going to learn about today? We're going to learn about a dictator. Oh, that's interesting. Victory, propaganda. Can you tell I really like word searches? I'm pretty good at all of that. So being able to use this as a way to activate students' engagement, what a great technique. And to make them be curious about what they will be learning in the course of the class period. So that's a fun way to use word searches. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so we have find the country's capital. Give us the country's name over here on the side, and then looking for it over here. There's one I recognize, Paris. And again, you'll see the color coding appear. And then if I'm trying to, as we saw before, trying to highlight something and it's not correct, it won't hold. But then we get the thing there. And you can, and I'll show you this in a bit, is being able to have your words go from left to right, or if you want them to go in reverse or diagonal, you can do that too. You can customize those settings. Okay, I think you get the idea for word searches. All right, Snowman is a variation of a very classic game. We do have live monitoring with the Snowman. So let's take a look at an example. So as that classic game, you will try to guess what the word is. French body parts. Maybe someone in the audience could help me out with a French word. And then I'm going to select the letters. And if I'm not picking the right letters, we'll see that the Snowman is getting drawn. Ah, let's go with a vowel. Oh, yay, I got one. Okay, so you can see the number of tries that if I get all the way to the snowman, then we know that I haven't correctly solved the problem. Oh no! Will I get there in time? Yay! Well done. Whew. Solved it in the next time before our snowman gets completed. So I'll show you a couple of other examples. Okay, so here's this one, which is guess the European capital. So same thing. We can, kind of get an idea of what we think the word might be. And then being able to fill in the letters and select them accordingly. So this could be something that's done, again, acquiring information, practicing skills, a turn and talk about what you are solving. Okay, here's another one. Guess the keyword and find the topic of today's lesson. So another way to get them thinking about what they might be learning about today. Great way to activate their engagement. Okay. Moving right along, let's take a look at Spot the Difference. So Spot the Difference does not have live monitoring, nor is there grades and feedback. And with Spot the Difference, you're given two different pictures. And then what you will do is click on the images to have, in this case, we have some words pop up with the differences between languages. Now it looks to me like one of these is French, possibly. Is that French? And then the other is Spanish. So a really interesting way to practice vocabulary and language acquisition through images with Spot the Difference. Let's take a look at another example. Ooh, here we have supply, the line goes down, demand, the line is going up. Okay, a way to acquire information there. And we'll see the counter in the corner lets me know how many differences I need to take a look at. Oh, yep. I got 2 out of 3. Look at that. Yay, I got a congratulations word. I really like this one, just from the nature of the graphics. And again, if you're having your students working with diagrams and you want them to compare and contrast, that they could spot the difference between things and then get some additional information. And you get the X that pops up when you're wrong. You get the box with the pop-up that gives you some more information to let you know when you've correctly spotted the difference. Okay, moving right along. And I've given you a few ideas already as I've shown you the various examples, but let's talk a little bit more in depth about using games in your particular lessons. So how we can use them and where we can put them into a lesson and what widgets could work for that. And think about this, even adding game widgets inside of other widget activities. What? Yeah. Widgets inside of widgets? Absolutely. All right, so let's first take a look at games in different phases of our lesson plan. So you could, as I showed you with a number of those examples, use the game in an introductory activity. And this is an interactive approach to activate your students' prior knowledge or introduce the topic for the lesson. You could also use games as a way for explanation, that they could be used to acquire that new information and explore a new topic, that you are explaining something. The games, of course, can be practice activities that reinforce the skills and knowledge that students have acquired during the lesson in a fun and engaging way. And you could also use the games at the end of a lesson where they could serve as a summary and a reinforcement of the content or skills learned at the conclusion of an activity or a lesson. And when we talk about putting game widgets inside of other widgets, well, you could incorporate games into more extensive lessons with, let's say, the planner widget or the WebQuest widget. So let's take a look at a few examples. So in this particular planner, we have choose the game you want to play and insert it by clicking on the plus icon. Okay. Your task is empty. Press the button up to add some tasks. So this is like a choice board. So here we've clicked the plus in the upper icon, and then we can select which games we want to play with. I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to pick that one. I'll pick this one. So now on my planner, I've chosen the items that I want to do, and it's given me a plan for the next activities. Then all I need to do is click on the icon, and it takes me to, here is a randomness widget with some directions, what they want me to do with this. Okay. And then I can use that arrow up here in the top to click back to that original planner. Let's go practice some English idioms. So you can see this is one of the widgets I showed you earlier. And I could continue with this as part of that choice board. Go to a history word search, same thing. You can see how the widgets are inside of a planner widget to create that digital choice board. Let's take a look at example number 2. So here we have practice your French knowledge. The teacher has already determined what the tasks will be. So there is no choice in this case, but we get our to-do list with the planner widget. That we can go practice our numbers, come back, and then I as the student can check off that I have done this particular activity. And as you see, with when I check the box on the planner, it kind of fades out that particular item, and then I know what I have left to do on my planner. Okay, let's go check out a WebQuest widget and the examples of games in that. So welcome to ancient Rome. Ooh, this looks like fun. So we get to engage in this web quest. Following along at the bottom will take us to the different areas where we need to go take some action. And then we have embedded in this web quest, we have a video. We have, here's the Snowman or Hangman widget where they can solve the problem. We have a crossword. We have a spot the difference. Aha! Use the links above to complete the quiz. So we have here a quiz widget is inside of this web quest. And then, unlock, what's the secret password? What was the reward word? Probably in one of the puzzles. And I enter in the password to be able to escape. So that's a fun way to be able to put some interactivity and some other widgets inside of that WebQuest widget. All right, let's take a look at some extra tips and tricks. So widgets, remember, can be customized to meet the needs of your diverse learners and to differentiate instruction. There's a variety of settings using the widget editor and the design options to be able to do that. So let's share with you. Our first tip and trick here is to create new games from import from widget. So this is a great way to work smarter, not harder, where you can use the import from widget setting to create a new game from an existing widget. So let's say you have flashcards or you have quiz questions. There's no need to start from scratch or to copy paste. You can just import, let's say, those flashcards or those quiz questions into a game widget like Crossword or word search or pair matching. So you get to reuse all of that content in a new way. And you can also go the other direction. You could reuse your game content and turn those into quizzes and worksheets. So let's go pop over to the widget editor. And I'm going to hit button to create a new widget. I've already logged into my account. I'm going to come down here and because I want to make a new game from existing content. So I'm going to select Crossword. Now I could go through and add word, but nope. We're going to come up here to the cogwheel and I'm going to select import from widget. Now you do have to know what widget you want to pull from. So I know in my Sandbox widget folder, I have flashcards for narrative terms. So here's my list. This is my flashcards. And what I'm going to do up here is I could either select all of the items. So this was the front side of the card and that's the back. So this is what I'm going to import as my answer and my clue. But if I didn't want all of them, I could simply check the individual boxes. But I'm going to say select all. I'm going to come over here and select import. Now look at that. It has generated for me the list of words and their corresponding clue. I have to hit generate puzzle. So now that I've generated the puzzle, I'm going to come back to preview and ta-da, there it is. So now same thing as before, when I click on it, it will give me the word to fill in. And now I know where I need to go. Okay, and if I wanted to change the design options, add a background image, I could totally do that here too to customize the look of it. All right, let's pop back over to the slides. And again, you can reuse this content either from a quiz or a worksheet into a game or working the other way from a game into a quiz worksheet. Some other tips and tricks. So on the Jigsaw puzzle, when you're using this particular widget, determining the number of puzzle pieces, and you can provide assistance through the use of a hint if needed. Now your hint, what it will be, is the completed puzzle image in the background. And then students can be rewarded with a text and or audio option upon completion. So let's pop over back to the widget editor. I'm going to close out this particular widget and I'm going to create a new one and open up Jigsaw puzzle. So when you come in, again, remember to work from left to right, top to bottom. So if you want to give your Jigsaw puzzle a name and a description, you will then have your image that you want to import. That's going to be the puzzle itself. And then what you can do, this is where you can customize the puzzle pieces. How many horizontal pieces do you want? How many vertical pieces? And of course, the more pieces you have, the harder the puzzle will be. And then below the pieces, you have your option here to have a reward word. So it could be the standard congratulations, which is already filled in for you. Or if you want to add in a personalized message, you could do that. And you could even do reward audio fragment that once they've solved the puzzle, you can choose if you already have something recorded. You could import from Google Drive or choose a file from your desktop, or you could record something in the moment. So for this particular Jigsaw puzzle, just hit the record button. It'll be recording right now. When you hit that, so right now we can say congratulations, job well done, or if you want to give some additional information, you can do that. I'm going to hit stop, and we get this lovely play bar where you can double check your recording and accept it. And then you'll see here is where it populates right here. So this is a fun way that you could tap into students' listening skills, like we did with the puzzle for the very first novelist. Students can listen to the recording after they've solved the puzzle. Again, blended learning, they could write down notes on acquiring that new information. So now you're tapping into their auditory processing skills and their handwriting skills. Okay, let's head back over to the slides. For the crossword puzzle, the other thing too that you can take a look at for the crossword is to specify the size of the puzzle and enter the words and the descriptions. So on our crossword, I'm going to close that one out, come back to this crossword, and in the widget editor on the configuration side, this is where you're going to see the list of all of the words. And if you scroll down beneath that, we have crossword size. Now you can change this, the default is set to 32 to fit the screen. But if you need to make it larger, just know that students will have to kind of drag the puzzle around on the screen to be able to see it. But you can change the size, maximum width and height of the crossword. And then also when you go to correction beneath, you can let students know if it's correct and incorrect letters when done. So, or there's no correction. So like as they're filling it in, you can let them immediately know if they are correct or not. And then in the general tab, this is where you can find some additional instructions if you want to put that in for your students. But again, in the configuration, that's where most of the important stuff will be. Okay, let's go take a look at another tip. With the randomness spinner, this one, you can select the desired number of wheels required for the activity, and you can add text, images, or group. So group just means that your wheels are dependent on one another. So let's take a real quick look when we go over to the widget editor. Close out this. And I'm going to do create new widget, select randomness. And then here's what I'll do is I'll give it a title, but then to configure the wheels, I'm going to need to click on the wheels tab, and then I can add a wheel, and I can select if I want my wheel to be text, images. Okay, so if I put in text, then on every line, I will need to put something else. Okay, then I can add a wheel, and I can do images. And with our Pixabay integration, add a wheel, you can add the image by choosing images from your computer, importing from Google Drive, or finding that image online with the Pixabay. And then just super fast, you can, search if I know I want an ocean. I want to find a blue ocean. Let's pick this one. Let's add another image. I'm going to do a forest. I kind of want green. Pick that one. And let's add a third image. Pick a sun. Okay, we'll just pick this one. It's got a lot of red in it. All right. And then when I go to preview, you can see here, I can spin the wheel and we get our different colors and our images matching. Okay. Then for those of you that this is pretty advanced to do the group. What will happen is with the group, you'll notice those wheels have disappeared. The wheels are all dependent on each other, and then you would need to configure, and by clicking on Learn More, it will show you how to configure it to do a group, so you have that dependency, where if it gives you one item, then you would get the dependent items in the other wheel. So kind of think like categories with that. Okay. Let's pop back over to our tips. With the mind map, for this one, you want to enter in, you could enter in a starting word or phrase to help students activate their understanding of what you want them to mind map about. And you could also use multiple, have multiple words for their mind map by creating an image and having that placed as the background when working in your design mode. So let me just show you a couple examples I made for my students. And let's close that one. Pop back into my widgets. So this particular one does not have a image in the background, but what I've done is given some text as my initial starting word, that I want them to be mind mapping about. So I'm going to hit preview, and you'll see here is this initial word that I've given, and then students can start adding in their boxes to create some additional items, and then can link to those. I hit my trash can so that you can see that, yep, there's just my starting word as a student approaching this activity for the very first time. And then let's go over here to another example. So this one is where I do have a background image. So I did not give them a text here, but when I go into preview and hit OK, and I'm going to click on design, you'll see here for background in design, I've added in an image that has these boxes already displayed that I've created this image myself. I just made the image in Google Slides, but you could make images with Canva. And then what it does is give students a place where I want them to kind of drag and drop, put in their, ideas that they're thinking about, and linking it in. So as they click the plus sign and add their next thing, that they can color code and add items to that particular area, and then move that tile around for the mind map. So it's another way to do a mind map and to do some different brainstorming. Additionally, some tips and tricks for pair matching and memory game. There's a variety of options for matches. You can do text and images and audio. And you can also, when using text, have the option to have it read aloud is available. And as I showed you before, having a matching color and or symbol. But just something to note is that there is currently not an option to match, to create pairs with audio and audio files. So you can't pair an audio file with another one. It's always going to be an audio with a text, or an audio with an image, or an audio. And then your text, though, could always be text to text, text to image, or text to audio. For bingo cards, your card contents can be words, images, or words and images combined, as I showed you in a number of the examples. And then when it comes to customizing your word search, you have those options to do reverse, diagonal. You can also choose to capitalize letters or not. Have your word list hidden if you don't want students to be able to see what they're looking for. And again, as positive reinforcement, you can have them be rewarded with a text and or audio. With the Snowman, we know that one. You can configure it to represent incorrect letter choices instead of using the hangman. graphic. And then with Spot the Difference, you will manually designate the placement of the frame on the image, and you can adjust the size as needed. And if desired, you can put different locations for 2 different images can be specified. And then upon completion, you can always do that reward with the text or audio. So we have lots of handy links and resources here for you to explore. As always, you need any help, you can always reach out to us at support@bookwidgets.com. Don't forget all those other webinars that we've done for our Wednesday webinar series. You have the ability to use these game widgets that we've showcased you here, let's say in a gamification class, but even thinking about, differentiating your instruction, as well as doing, taking your paper handouts and then turning them digital. We have lots of webinars that take you through how you could be using BookWidgets with your classes. And of course, tutorials, knowledge base. Our Facebook group is a great way to connect with other BookWidget using educators, and our blog is a fantastic space where you can also get inspired with the number of widgets that we show you there. And we are so glad you've been here. We're so happy that our roads have crossed and that you've joined us for today's webinar.